Hello students, in today's class we'll learn about how rigid bodies work or kinematics of rigid body. What is kinematics of rigid bodies? Before that, I think you are well aware of kinematics. It's a study how a body moves or behaves with certain movement about itself. So what is rigid body? Rigid body is considered to be a body which deformation is so negligible, so less that it is completely negligible. Or in other words, the deformation of the body is so less or so minute that we don't take in consideration. Okay, so we know what is kinematics, as I have told you, particles form rigid as the same thing. So here we learn about how it works, the classifications of rigid body. So it is a introductory class of the entire part where we will be learning, and there will be more to come in coming days. So what is that? First is the translation or rectilinear motion. Just now, as you can see, this before going for further analysis, you have to understand what are the things while you are considering a rigid body. Now, this is the while considering a rigid body, you have to consider any arbitrary 2 points in the body, and that 2 points will be fixed over here, and it will, and the entire kinematic study or the movement will be understood or will be studied from this point of view. So that's why you could see these 2 points are parallel to A1 is parallel to A2 and B1 is parallel to B2. So this two gets parallel. So this is what happens in translation motion. Okay, this is only for applicable for rigid bodies. Now, next is the curvilinear motion. When the path, this is the path, is not straight, it's termed as curvilinear motion, or there is some terms of radius, then it is termed as curvilinear motion. Now, it may happen also there that these 2 points, there is a rotation among these 2 points, like this A is rotating over there, B is rotating. That means this complete body is rotating at certain axis. That is what also called this is a part of kinematics. Okay. Now, here you can see this, for example, these things get up and this things gets down. That means if it gets down and this, if this collar slides down, this collar will slide towards right. If or vice versa. If the collar slides towards left, this collar will go up. Okay. Now this is what, this is the spinning part. This is spins. This is what we used to play in when we were small. This is in Hindi, it is called lattu. So what happens? This moves from in its axis, just following this phenomenon, and this is what of this one. Now, why it is so? You could see there is 1 point and there is 2 points. These 2 points are shifted from here to here. These 2 points are shifted from here to here. This is what happening. Okay, clear? So there are much more, as I have told you about the motions, general motions. So what is, so motion, so there are many things. As translation, we know that there will be a radius will be considered, and this will be my center, this will be my point of frame of reference. So from where I'll be considering RB and RA, then we'll go for the two particle. We'll be finding out how much is the RB acting, because RB is my resultant for here. So I can set RA plus RB plus by A. So hence now differentiating, I could get R dash by B, this one is equals to R dash B, or I could say BB is equals to BA. So this is what we could do after differentiating with time. What happens if I differentiate to time, distance to time, will I get the velocity. That's what I get, that velocity of B point and A will always remain same. That's why if it slides all together with itself. So again, this is for acceleration. If I differentiate these things again, or if I double differentiate RB, RA, or these things, I'll be getting these things. That means this 2 point, if any 2 point of 2 point on a rigid body can be will be similar, will be in motion, similar in the motion during translation of a body. What is rotation? As I have told you, now see, rotation, this is the radius of rotation what we are considering. Rotation P is a point, and this is it's a type of a cone forming over here, the fixed axis. So you can see this is what there will be a V velocity working outside. That is, we know that velocity works as we have studied in our mechanics subject in school actually, that there is a velocity which works, which a tendency to get out, for which we can from which we could write a linear velocity relation with a angular velocity. From there we could write, as we know, could write. So how we have derived it to be very simple. Unit vector V dr by dt, we know that as we have studied earlier, the V is equals to ds by dt, as you know. Why? In terms of tangent, we'll consider ds. This is a small part, ds. Okay, then after consider taking in trigonometric term r sine phi, and so on, V is equals to r theta. So this will be more elaborated in your next classes. Now, this is only your classes for first time, because there for this you need the classes will be on. Don't worry, this will be divided in 3 parts every this module. Okay, next. So what I can do, I could go dr by dt. As we know, the cross product, V is the cross product, velocity is the cross product of omega. That is, omega is the angular velocity and the radius r. So where I can get these things. What is omega? Omega is equals to omega into k. Now what is over here omega? Omega is nothing but the theta, the changes of displacement. So is equals to omega angular velocity. What is differentiation of to determine the this is what we do. This is the same thing we have done over the velocity, and these things we have done over here for velocity. We'll do again differentiate and we'll get the acceleration. This same goes by dv by dt, and we do the differentiation. We use the dv rule of differentiation and we get this value. So what is the angular velocity? Angular velocity, we can go to angular acceleration. So similarly, for we know that d omega by dt is equals to alpha. So after putting d omega by dt, replacing d omega alpha in place of d omega by dt, and we get this one. Acceleration of p is a moment of is a combination of two vectors. Now what happens, like here it is written over this. That means alpha into k r, that is cross product omega into v. V is nothing but I know omega into r. So this is what you can get. That's it. It's very simple. Rotation about a fixed axis or representative slab. So this is if it rotates in this way. This was completely a 3D motion what we have considered. Now if it is a 2D on a slab, if a slab is moving on a plane, or plane is rotating, so what will happen? This is the same criteria, omega k into r. That means here we are considering a complete thing on the on respect of I, j, and where here will be considered only in two, I and j only. So this is in here you have to consider also k in that sense, like you can see, but here we will not consider k. This you can see, this is k r. So k okay, omega r into, so again for k r, what is I and what is j? So it is getting shifted. So resolving, oh no. So it's the same formulations, and we have just changed this thing. Alpha, we know, as we can break alpha vector, and we can get this one. Okay, fine. This is our after tangential equation and normal components, we could derive this one, that alpha transverse, that is this one transverse will be alpha k cap cross r vector and alpha normal, that is the normal which is working, this is one is the normal, and this will be minus omega square r. Fine. Equation of defining the rotation about a fixed vessel. This is the same again, the same thing. Omega is equals to what we have done. So this is simple. Omega is equal to d theta by dt. T is equals to omega. So again, we alpha, we know that the double definition of this these things we have done it, and we get this. Though now here the problems come. If it's a uniform rotation, what will happen? Alpha is equals to 0. So after putting, as we know, thus v is equals to omega, v is equals to u plus at. So v, in place of v it will be omega, and u in place of is the omega naught. So we know initial velocity or final velocity, so we could represent v and u. But in terms of angular things, what we do, we write omega and omega naught. So after that, as this is what we can do. If alpha is a constant, we could go for this one, the simplest one what we have done. So what are general plane equations? General plane equation is nothing but we have to understand how it works. If it is a rotational translation motion, what I say, why? Because you could see the rotation of this body is making us a linear motion. That's why we say rotational translation motion. So what is translation? The linear movement. As you can see, this plane motion is derived from a rotation as well as the linear motion, like here and here. Fine. This is what we do. Consider as a sum of, as I have told you, these things. Fine. Now, these things can be changed from one point to another. Now, as you can see, this can vary from point application to application. For example, as you can see, this body has been shifted from one point to another point just due to the change of change of motion. So this is what you can do. This is here is it is having translation motion or linear motion plus as well as a rotational motion also. That's it. Now, absolute and relative velocity in plane motion. So what happens? The same thing. If there is a two velocity, there will be this motion. This body is having two velocity in 2 points. So as I told you, in rigid body, it's consider always 2 points. So if there's a 2 points, now that means one will have a linear velocity and another point will be under a rotational motion. That's what it has been shown here, that which is making both plane motion, as you can see. Fine. Absolute and relative velocity in planes, as I have told you, this one, this movement, and this one, as I have earlier explained over here. So your work will be to understand this things what happened. This comes, this goes down, slides down, and this slides towards right. So this makes the motion changes. And if this over here, what happens, you could understand this slides down, this slides over here. That means there is a translation motion also, like how this body this has a tendency to this point. So hence this point will ask it to all this be to move over here, but it's not possible. So what happens, if I fix this point, and if I give a rotation over here, that means there will be a plane motion. There may be a plane motion. Okay, as you can see there, the simple thing what you can do. That means relative motion can, it's not a purely rotational translation motion. It's a very semi, it's not at all. In my perception, it's not at all. So what the direction of we know v by a is equal to tan theta, b is equals to b a tan theta. Okay, fine. Why? Because after writing this, putting this factors in terms of your the placements or displacement factor of triangle law, we get this one. Okay. Same for this one, plane motion. Again, if I go for this, the same thing will happen. So what I have told you, they have fixed the up part and they have given rotation in the point, this one. The same thing will happen. The phenomena are same only. Instantaneous. So what happens is, instantaneous point on or on a plane is, there is a center, instantaneous center, maybe xyz, any center. Let me consider what is the plane, what is the rotation happens. So it happens like when a car comes to strike another car, and the car gets rotate, gets shifted. That is what wants to show the velocity acting on a certain point, and the car gets shifted. Two cars comes in a contact to each other, but at 90 degree, or more than 90, or less than or more than 90 degree, but not at not at 0 degree. Okay, this is what for the same things. If it is a rotation is applied, what happens now? This is if the rotation apply is provided in a point, and as you can see the movement, this whole body will rotate. Okay, instantaneous center of a plane. So if it's considering 2 points, then it will happen, it will get another rotation. So these things we could see when we are considering in terms of instantaneous center. Now what is the example? If you try to bend a body, or if you applied applied a constant force or constant velocity on a bar of two sides, and fixing with the big mid one, you could see this effect. Okay. We know the what is the instantaneous center of rotation in plane, as I have told you earlier. The same thing, so you could derive it, and you will be getting the same answers. So after that relative acceleration, what we have got the same acceleration by solving the velocity vectorically. So we could write everything. So this is the same for this translation motion, and okay, the same goes for everything. What we, that means we could actually change it in many ways. So we'll do sums for this one to understand, but there is one more thing what I love to show you. I'm just getting that one. This is your rotating frame. If a frame is rotating, that's one of the most important. If a frame is rotating, or the frame of reference is rotating, with respect to that you want to find, that means you have to get a new coordinate system, or not like that you have to make it very hard. So that would be a new way out to see. We see the thing like applying other like XYZ, and the deflected angle will be considered. As you can see, Q is equals to QXI YZ, QX is equals to QOXYZ equals to QIZ. With if the frame is kept fixed, so there will be two QX. Here one is dot dot dot, so that is the differentiated, because it has been rotated due to it at certain angle. Same goes for the rate of change of rotating of a frame. This is what happening if a fixed point is equivalent to the point, it's rotating at a point of fix. So this would happen. Okay, motion about a fixed point. What happens if about a fixed point it's rotating? It may be a rotational, or it may be a translation. What we can do, we can just go for this one, omega into r. This is what we have done, the simplest one. A is equal to alpha into r. What we know, omega into square. Why it is so? As we have seen in the earlier derivations, we are applying this one. Now this is what happens if it's a body, it's fine. If it is a cone or space cone or something like body cone, the same thing goes on. So the formulation V is equals to dr by dt, and we know that it is equals to omega into r, and A is equals to alpha into r plus omega into r. So alpha is equals to d omega by t. Say the same goes for any other body. So there will be a resultant of this omega, which will give me how the body moves. That's it. General motion, we know that this body will move from this and push towards outside. So this is what V B. We know that if you consider a velocity of at point B, you could find this one. Why? B B A, that is the respective velocity of B to A. You can write omega into R B by A B A, or R B A. Fine. Similarly for the p acceleration of particle p, so as we know that a is equals to alpha b by a alpha into r plus omega, as we have studied in the earlier. So after that we could just get our answers. Now, this is the three dimension of Coriolis acceleration. So this will skip for as if for now, but will go come in the coming classes, because okay, frame of reference, as I have told you, general motion. This is what rp for radius, vp as alpha. Yeah, we know that radius, how much radius is getting shifted, how much velocity, how much acceleration. So this is what we are doing over here. Now bp is equals to, we know bp is we have considered. Okay, fine. Alpha, the acceleration, we have done it. Now this is the most important part. We'll be getting more in depth in the coming classes, but in today's class we'll end with this one. There are more depth to go inside. So D'Alembert principle. D'Alembert principle is how the particle is working, what the particle mechanics are going on according to the mass. So what happens, it says that the total force induced in a body is if you minus with the mass and the acceleration acting on this, it should and multiply with the dr I, it should be is equals to 0. That means the total moment on the body, this is, I have told the formula, but the thing is the total moment or the overall or net moment on the body, if it's 0, that means you are following a D'Alembert principle, or it is also known as Lagrange D'Alembert principle also. So it is it helps us to understand how a body reacts when a force is given at a particular time as well as at a particular distance. Okay, this is what we have learned, that how rigid body works. If 2 points, the simple thing, just use your vector mechanics. This is not more than that, vector mechanics, and try to make it more easier to yourself. Okay, if you get any problem, you could contact me, and my content, there will be more updated content regarding this chapter in coming days. Thank you.